Hello and welcome. We are live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Multiple landslides in southern Indian state of Kerala kill at least 84. 126 people rescued as search operations underway in Wayanad. Army pressed into service. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses industry leaders on the budget, says country's growth remained exceptional even in times of crisis. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman to reply to budget debate in Parliament. India gets second medal at Paris Olympics as Manu Bakers and Sarabjot Singh bagged bronze in 10-meter air pistol mixed team event in shooting. And Venezuela on edge as election result fuels discontent and violence. Organization of American states to hold a meeting as Latin American leaders reject the result. News in detail now. In India's southern state of Kerala, massive landslides left at least 84 people killed, scores injured and hundreds trapped. Besides, 126 people have been rescued so far and under treatment in different hospitals. Two teams of NDRF, including 2 helicopters and 4 columns of army, are assisting State Disaster Management Authority in carrying out search and rescue operation in the Mundakai Hills of Wayanad district.
When this information was received about the landslide in Wayanad district, we already had a team in Wayanad district for the pre-monsoon deployment. This team was immediately rushed to the spot and it started its rescue. Besides, the ongoing rain is proving to be a bit of challenge, but we are continuing with our total might and with our total commitment.
An Army's engineering group is also reaching Wayanad to build alternative logistics system. 200 members strong army contingent is pressed into action in the landslide affected areas. A naval team will also join the rescue operations. The Navy's river crossing team is reaching from Himachal base. State government has declared official mourning on July 30th and 31st in the state. And Indian Met Department has issued a red alert in 8 districts, warning of extreme heavy rainfalls, an orange alert for 7 districts and a yellow alert for 2 districts. India's President Draupadi Murmu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi has condoled the loss of lives in massive landslide in Kerala's Wayanad. Taking to social media site X, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, and I quote him, this is what he said: "Distressed by the landslides in parts of Wayanad, my thoughts are with all those who have lost their loved ones and prayers with those injured. Rescue ops are currently underway to assist all those affected." Spoke to Kerala CM Sri Pinarayi Vijayan and also assured all possible help from the centre in the wake of the prevailing situation there, unquote. And the Prime Minister has also announced an ex gratia of Rs 2 lakh from PM National Relief Fund for the next of kin of each deceased in the landslides and parts of Wayanad. The injured would be given Rs 50,000. And Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar also expressed deep anguish over loss of lives in the landslides. He said that the situation is such that the entire nation must provide relief to those affected.
Thoughts in bipartisan matter are with those who have lost their lives, and if they are injured, we wish them speedy recovery. It is a situation where the entire nation has reason to give relief to the people concerned. All agencies, central government, state government, the Prime Minister of the country has spoken to the Chief Minister. He has expressed all help to be given to them. There has been some ex gratia payment already by the central government.
And to aid the Wayanad landslide relief efforts, the Department of Information and Public Relations has opened district and state level media control rooms. And the contact number is 0483 2734 387. So this is the helpline number on your screen. And state level control room located at the secretariat can be reached at 047123276628 or 2518637. Now, in neighbouring Gujarat, rain has been recorded in almost all districts in the last 24 hours. Most rain recorded in Mehsana, that is 7 inch. Sabarkantha recorded 6.5 inch, where Bharuch recorded 5.9 inch rain. More than 11 districts recorded more than 4 inches of rain. According to IMD, 5 upcoming days is expected to be tough for all over Gujarat, as heavy to very heavy rain may strike due to two systems ongoing in northeast Arabian Sea. Administration of South Gujarat and whole Saurashtra is on standby mode because these regions have recorded heavy rain since last 20 days. A cloudburst has unleashed devastation in the Tosh Hills of Manikaran Valley in Himachal Pradesh. Heavy floods in Tosh has washed away a bridge and 3 temporary sheds and shops were also washed away. The administration has sent a team of the Revenue Department to assess the damage on the spot and investigation is ongoing. An orange alert has been issued for heavy rain tomorrow and day after in the state. Along with this, warning of landslide and flood has also been issued in 5 districts of Himachal Pradesh. A Howrah-Mumbai passenger train derailed in the Indian state of Jharkhand in the early hours of Tuesday, leaving 2 persons dead and over a dozen were injured. Relief and rescue operations are currently underway at the site of the train accident near Chakradharpur. Following the incident, the Indian Railways cancelled 5 trains and routes of many important trains have been changed.
एक मालगाड़ी डिरेल हो गई थी, उसी पर ये टकरा गई थी। टकराने के बाद करीब 12 से 15 बोगी पलट गए हैं, जिसमें लगभग 3-4 लोग गंभीर रूप से घायल थे, जिनको हॉस्पिटल भेज दिया गया और करीब 20 और हल्का फुल्का जो घायल थे उनको हॉस्पिटल भेजा गया है। और यहाँ 2 डेथ बॉडी मिला है, जिसको बाहर निकाल लिया गया है। अभी एक टीम हम लोगों ने अंदर भेजा था और उनको वो लगभग आ ही रहे हैं। पता चला है कि अंदर और कोई भी ऐसा लोग फंसे हुए नहीं है।
And India's Prime Minister
एक मालगाड़ी डिरेल हो गई थी, उसी पर ये
session of Journey towards Viksit Bharat, a post-union budget 2024-25 conference in New Delhi. More than 1,000 participants from industry, government, think tanks also attended the session. And addressing the session, Prime Minister stressed that the day is not far when India will become the 3rd largest economic power in the world. Prime Minister said that India's fiscal prudence is a role model for the world.
2013-14 में जब पिछली सरकार का आखिरी बजट आया था, डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह जी के सरकार का लास्ट बजट, वो 16 लाख करोड़ रुपए का था, 16 लाख करोड़। आज हमारी सरकार में ये बजट 3 गुना बढ़कर 48 लाख करोड़ रुपया पहुंच गया है।
And the Prime Minister said that their main challenge was to revive the economy, which was derailed by the fragile 5 crisis and massive scams running into lakhs of crores. PM also said that capital expenditure has grown 5-fold in last 9 years.
4 में यूपीए सरकार की शुरुआत हुई और यूपीए सरकार के पहले बजट में कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर करीब 90,000 करोड़ रुपए था, 90,000 करोड़ रुपीस। 10 साल सरकार चलाने के बाद, यानी 2014 में यूपीए सरकार का 10वां वर्ष था, अपने कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर का बजट 2 लाख करोड़ रुपए, 2 लाख करोड़ रुपए तक पहुंचा पाई थी। और आज कैपेक्स 11 लाख करोड़ रुपए से भी ज्यादा है।
India's latest union budget has set the stage for a potential economic boom, as per financial experts. At a session organized by the Institute of Chartered Accountants, Dubai, industry leaders applauded the government's strategic approach to fostering growth while maintaining fiscal responsibility.
Clearly, people other than IITs and IIMs, they get interns, they get employment reasonably quicker. Whereas the non-IIT guys and non-IIT students, they don't get employment as fast as they should. So they are coming to the two areas. One, of course, the skill development, and second is making it intern compulsory in the top 500 companies. Leave aside other companies. Top 500 companies, you contribute about 85% of the market cap. And those 85% of the market cap companies that take a collective responsibility, then they can actually make the students who come out of the colleges are employable.
Now, CA Girish Ahuja, a renowned author and tax expert, highlighted India's success in narrowing its fiscal gap, a feat many global counterparts are struggling to achieve.
Long-term capital gain raised to 10 to 12%, 12.5%. That means they had a plan of raising short-term and long-term capital gain from 10 to 15% rather. The market can absorb it because the market is about 10% also. I remember when we were redrafting the law, there used to be a section 10 clause 38 stating that long-term capital gain from the transfer of shares shall be exempt because you have already paid STT on that. But market was going up. They wanted money, and every government wants money. They said, let's raise it, let's close the chapter of exemption.
Well, now let's take a look at other stories making news today. The High Court of Delhi will hear a petition on Wednesday regarding the death of 3 UPSC aspirants in a coaching centre due to waterlogging. A high-level probe has also been requested into the matter. Students continue their protest seeking their permanent solutions. The issue of UPSC aspirants' death was also raised during the 0 hour of the Lok Sabha. The Patiala House Court of Delhi will hear the anticipatory bail application of probationary IAS officer Pooja Khetkar on Tuesday. This is in relation to an FIR registered against her for allegedly faking her identity to fraudulently avail attempts beyond the permissible limit in the civil services examination. And Dr. Atul Goyal, the DG Health Services, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, conducted a meeting with health professional bodies of India focusing on health promotion, healthy campus initiative and tobacco control. As an outcome, it was agreed to adopt a declaration of health promotion and take possible measures to espouse the concept of health promotion. Now, nationwide mourning is being observed on Tuesday in Bangladesh over quota reform protest deaths. The decision was taken at a cabinet meeting chaired by Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Cabinet Secretary Mohammad Mehboob Hussain said everyone will wear in fact black badges and prayers will be offered in mosques and temples. Internet services has also been restored in the country. Earlier on Monday, the border guard Bangladesh has intensified security measures across the country, particularly in key areas of Dhaka, as nearly 150 people were killed during the violence. All right, still to come on this edition of DD India Live. As tensions between Israel and Hezbollah escalate, US leads diplomatic efforts to avoid wider conflict. And Russia's Navy begins an exercise involving most of its fleet as well as 20,000 personnel and 300 ships. Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. Tensions between Israel and Lebanon have risen since Saturday's rocket strike on the town, which killed 12 children as they played football in Israel's Golan Heights. Israeli drones struck a remote road in southern Lebanon, underscoring tensions as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu promised a harsh response to the rocket strike. Video footage showed a crowd of Druze residents gathering in objection to Netanyahu's visit, some shouting in dissent. And the United States is leading a diplomatic dash to deter Israel from striking Lebanon's capital Beirut in response to the attack. The White House has defended Israel's right to respond to the Golan strike, but asserted that nobody wanted a broader war. Israel and the US have blamed Hezbollah for the rocket strike, though the group has denied the responsibility. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni called on Israel not to fall into the trap of retaliation, expressing her concerns about the situation in Lebanon and risk of a regional escalation. Take a listen.
I'm very concerned with what is happening in Lebanon, about the risk of a regional escalation, and that's also something that needs to be evaluated. Every time we seem to be a little bit closer to the possibility of a ceasefire, something happens. It means that there are different regional players aiming for escalation and always aiming to force Israel to react. I also say this to urge Israel not to fall into this trap.
And the political landscape in Venezuela has plunged into chaos following the recent presidential election. Tension has risen in anti-government protests in Caracas over the disputed election results. Let's take a look at this report.
Venezuelans have taken to the streets after the Electoral Authority officially declared President Nicolas Maduro the winner of country's presidential election that the opposition says was marred by fraud. Thousands of protesters took to the streets of Caracas and showed their rage by burning barricades, blocked roads and banged pots and pans in various neighborhoods, accusing Maduro of fraud. The spokesperson of United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, Stéphane Dujarric, said that Guterres called for complete transparency in Venezuela's election. The UN chief called on political leaders and their supporters for moderation and said all electoral disputes should be addressed and resolved peacefully. Amid protests, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro said that his government knows how to deal with the anti-government protests.
We have been following all the acts of violence promoted by the extreme right. I can tell the people of Venezuela that if they have done harm, we are acting. We already know this movie. So once more, along with the civil, military and police union, we are acting. We already know how they operate.
Estamos actuando.
Meanwhile, 9 Latin American leaders have expressed profound concern and called for a full review of Venezuela's election results. Bureau Report, TD India.
US President Joe Biden is calling for changes to the Supreme Court, including term limits for justices and ethics code, plus constitutional changes to prevent complete presidential immunity. It comes following the highest court's opinion on Donald Trump in the election interference case, which means presidents get immunity for official acts. DD India's Caroline Malone reports from Washington.
US President Joe Biden has proposed a constitutional amendment to stop blanket immunity for presidents and several top court changes that would give justices on the top bench term limits and an enforceable ethics code.
My fellow Americans, based on all my experience, I'm certain we need these reforms. We need these reforms to restore trust in the courts, preserve the system of checks and balances that are vital to our democracy. There are also common sense reforms that a vast majority of the American people support, as well as leading constitutional law scholars, progressives and conservatives. I look forward to working with the Congress to implement these necessary reforms.
Biden spoke about the suggested reforms while in Austin, Texas on Monday, marking the 60th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act, with an address at the Lyndon Baines Johnson Presidential Library at the University of Texas. His proposed changes come after the Supreme Court ruled in former President Donald Trump's case that he would be immune from prosecution for, quote, official acts. That will push the decision back to lower courts and delay the start of a Trump federal criminal trial even further. and after a number of bribery and political imagery scandals also involving top court justices. Well, Republicans have spoken out against the suggested changes. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, said it was a proposal by Biden to, quote, delegitimize the court, and he said the changes would not be considered by his chamber, which he and his party control. Well, this dangerous gambit of the Biden-Harris administration, he said, is dead on arrival in the House. Well, the Republican National Committee has also said it's a scheme to pack the Supreme Court with far-left radical judges. But any proposed changes to the Supreme Court would have to be approved by members of Congress, and any constitutional changes would need to go through individual states. Caroline Malone in Washington for DD India.
And former US President Donald Trump has agreed to an interview by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, or FBI, as part of its investigation into an assassination attempt against him earlier this month. The interview comes as the Federal Bureau is continuing to investigate the motive for Thomas Crooks to try and assassinate Trump at a campaign rally in Pennsylvania. In a Fox News interview that aired on Monday, Trump said that the FBI interview is likely to take place on Thursday. The interview is part of the FBI's standard victim interview to get his perspective on what he had observed. And Russia's Navy has started planned exercises involving most of its fleet in the Arctic and Pacific Oceans. The Navy is also conducting drills in the Baltic and Caspian Seas. The drills, including 20,000 personnel and 300 ships, are aimed at testing the readiness and capabilities of the Navy at all levels. Russia's military said that the drills will include over 300 combat exercises, including practicing the use of anti-aircraft missiles, artillery and anti-submarine weapons. Paris Olympics updates now. And another good news came from Paris Olympics today. Just a while ago, India's star shooter Manu Bakers and Sarabjot Singh bagged India's second bronze medal in 10-meter air pistol mixed team event. With this, Manu Bakers becomes first athlete in history of independent India to win 2 medals in a single Olympic edition. It was Norman Pritchard who bagged 2 silver medals in 1900 Olympics edition. The Indian pair of Manu Bakers and Sarabjot Singh defeated the Koreans 16-10 today. Manu Bakers earlier won bronze medal in 10-meter air pistol event on Sunday. Sarabjot's performance was also notable. He had lost out on an individual final spot and finished 9th on account of firing 1 less in a 10 on the opening day of the Games. Each team member was allowed to fire a single shot in 50 seconds. The team with the highest combined score of each round was awarded 2 points. A tie in a particular round will see the teams split points. The first side to reach 16 points won, and India won eventually by 16-10. Manu Bakers' parents continue to celebrate after their daughter's scripted history in Paris. Her mother, Sumedha Bakers, said Manu has done wonders.
खुश हूँ आज मैं कैसे बताऊँ आप लोगों को। मैं दोनों बच्चों के लिए सुबह से प्रेयर कर रही हूँ कि एक अकेली मनु से काम नहीं चलेगा, क्योंकि सरबजोत का भी स्ट्रॉन्ग होके खेलना बहुत ज़रूरी है। दोनों बच्चों के लिए मैंने लिखा भी है डायरी में, मैं आपको पढ़ाऊंगी मैंने आज क्या लिखा भगवान के प्रति और बच्चों के प्रति और अपने लिए और अपने पति के लिए, अपने परिवार के लिए क्या लिखा है। मैंने बहुत कुछ लिखा और वो सब आज सफल कर दिया भगवान ने, सच्ची में।
And Sarabjot's father Jitendra Singh, assistant coach Gaurav Saini and others too celebrate the historic win. Sarabjot's father expressed happiness and congratulated Manu Bakers and the family.
बहुत खुशी हुई जी, ओलंपिक का मेडल बेटे ने कढ़िया जी। जिला वाले वासियों को बहुत बहुत बधाइयाँ जी, दीन गाँव को बहुत बहुत बधाइयाँ जी। मेरे गाँव के सरपंच सतविंदर सिंह बब्बू जी, जरनैल सिंह सरपंच, नवनीत सिंह सरपंच, उन्होंने बहुत बहुत मुबारक।
And Sarabjot Singh's coach said that the medal is the result of Sarabjot's hard work and discipline.
ये लग रहा है जी पूरे देश को गर्व है जी, आज बहुत मेहनत के साथ जी बहुत मुकाम पे पहुंचे हैं जी, ब्रॉन्ज मेडल लिया है जी। बहुत मेहनत कराई है जी सरबजोत को, और अब तक सरबजोत ने जो मेडल लिए हैं जी बहुत मेहनत की है जी।
And fans also celebrate after India's second bronze medal at the Paris Olympics 2024. Well, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.